our first session or first demonstration for systems integration and architecture. So again, this is just the initial demonstrations. It means na there will be succeeding demonstrations in order for us to uh, perform what is needed for this subject. Okay? So we have here our checklist as to ano yung gagawin natin for this week. So the first one is that we need to create a database for our for products, and that includes also creating tables for it. The second one is that we are to create a web form for our products. And the third one is that we need to create a function that will help us in adding the product details to the database. So, ibig sabihin, coming from forms, so from forms, papuntang database. So, yan yung first step natin or yan yung unang gagawin natin. But before that, I need to remind you na you need to install the following software before you can perform this demonstration. The first one is that you need to install SAMP or WAMP. So right now I'm using SAMP kasi yung ginagamit kong laptop is hindi siya Windows. Okay? So you need to install SAMP, and then you need to make sure na it's properly installed in order for the Apache and then for the MySQL to run. Okay? So turning it on, like you have it here, if you have successfully installed SAMP, you open its panel on the right side of your desktop, and then a panel like this will be provided, and then after that you need to hit the start button, and then pag nag-turn na into green, it means na the server is up, and then the interface for database or the creation of database and even its manipulation is already okay. Okay? Another thing also is that after creating or after installing yung SAMP, you will be given with a folder. Nasaan ba yung folder ko? So you will be given with the folder na SAMP folder ito. You'll be given with a SAMP folder. Wait muna ha, I'll just have it on a different viewing angle para ano talaga. Okay? Ayupay ka na no. List na lang. So for example ito, I have installed SAMPman, so I will be provided with an htdocs na file location. So ibig sabihin, lahat ng gagawin ko in PHP, dito ko isi-save so that it will be run to our local server. So it means now if you have successfully installed SAMP, it also means that you have successfully created your local server. Okay? So right now, I will just be presenting yung yung end goal natin, okay? So yung end goal natin is that ganito yung gagawin natin. So, di ba if you notice, it's quite simple because this is not web dev man gyud. This is SIA man sad siya. So kung web dev ito, I will really be kumbaga very particular with the design. So right now, what I'm after man is the demonstration of the concept. So if you would want to add some designs based on what you have learned in your web development, then that's a good one. Okay? So right now, ang goal natin is makagawa tayo ng ganito. The first one is an input box for product ID, and then the second one is an input box for product name. So if you notice, for example, I will type this one, or I will add another product gali ha. And then lagyan natin keyboard, diba? Click natin yung submit, and then if I will go to the database, ito yung database. If I will click on product info, ayan, di ba? It's added onto the database. Okay? Yan yung goal natin for today. So paano ba ito ginawa? Okay. The first thing that you need to do is that after turning on your SAMP, like for example, nag-green na itong dalawa, you need to go to a browser. Like for example, on my end, I'm using Mozilla Firefox, Google Chrome. So I went to localhost. You just type localhost php myadmin and then /index.php. You will be provided with this interface dayon. So after that one, you create a database. So for example, I will create a database. So pag create ko ng database, I will be prompted with the following. I will be asked kung ano yung name ng database. So for this one, I will, para same tayo or uniform tayo, you name your database as SIA1-TP. So, Systems Integration and Architecture 1 dash Task Performance. And then just create it because default man yung nasa PHP may admin naman sad. So, after creating it, you will be asked to create a table. So, for example, ito, I will be creating product info. This one, ito yung name ng table, di ba? I think you know this one, Mansad, in your information management. So, this one is the name of the table, and then the number of columns is for the attributes of the table. So, right now, since yung goal ko is dalawang input box lang yung gagamitin ko, so I will just type here 2 columns, okay? And then I'll just click go. After that, I will have it name yung columns na ginawa ko kanina. So for now, I'll have it prod ID and then prod name. Okay? So for prod ID, usually kasi yung nasa supermarkets is that it's a combination of letter and numbers. That's why I'm having it as a variable character. Same goes with the name, di ba? Sometimes nga yung mga name ng products natin is in variable and is a combination of a letter and ano man sad, letter and a number. And then don't forget to put or make your what you call this one, make product ID as your primary key para wala tayong what you call this one, walang duplicate of records na mangyayari. I forgot kung saan ito ilalagay. I think nasan yung extra. Wait muna, I'll just ano muna. Ayun, there. You have it there, primary. So I'll be having a prod ID as the primary key for this table. So ibig sabihin, there should be no duplicate IDs for this matter or for this example. So I'll just click go na dayon. Okay? I think it's saved na. Not go pala, save pala ito. So after clicking save, you have it here. Diba? You have it here. I have created a table. Yung name ng table daw is product info. And then I have 2 columns na pwede kong gamitin later sa aking data sa aking paggawa ng web form. Okay? So ayan, we have successfully created a database with the table for products. Now, the second one that you will need to do is something like this. So let's go first to your text editor. And then you type this code. I will be explaining the code. Ako na nang gi-type daan para ita malangay. So if you notice it here, ayan. So this code is for the connection. Like we will try to connect or we will try to access our database using PHP. So I have declared here a variable link, diba? It's very ano talaga. Like it's very relevant. So this variable link will be used to connect to the local database. So if you will ask me, sir, saan po ba dyan yung process ng pagko-connect? So MySQL Connect is a function in PHP that helps you connect automatically to your local database. So your local database by default is named as localhost, and then yung username niya is root tapos wala siyang password. Not unless you have configured it, then that's the time you need to remember kung ano yung nilagay nyo. But based on experience talaga, it's localhost. Yung username naman is yung root and then wala siyang password. So this one will be our code for connecting our PHP program to the database. Now, para saan itong die? So actually, another good thing with PHP is that it is able to perform try-catch in just a single line of code. Okay? So for example, hindi successful yung pag-connect nyo sa database, automatically this one will follow. Like it will provide an error, like PHP will provide itself with an error na it was not able to retrieve this local database or there's no existing local database installed in your computer. That's why a while ago I'm telling you na kinakailangan you install first and then you turn on your SAMP or your WAMP. Okay? Now, the second one or the second line is used for us to connect directly to the database that we have created. Diba, we have the local server. Yung local server natin, under niyan is yung database na na-create natin. So for this one, you have it here. We are now selecting the database that we have created through the access point na we have created. How did we create the access point? It's because of this variable. Diba? We have called this variable and then we have specified na you go to the local server and then look for this one. Ito yung name ng database. So the name of the database, as what we have created a while ago, it's not SIATP, but it's actually SIA1-TP. So pag hindi nyo to nakita, automatically itong part ng code ang i-execute ni PHP. Okay? So for example, ayan. Okay, so after this one, if you have created this code already, make sure na a proper spelling and then yung proper names na ginamit natin. You kindly go to your save as, file, and then save as, and then look for the, again, look for the SAMP, diba? Look for the SAMP na folder, look for htdocs dayon. Ayan no, you have it here. From SAMP, tapos, I'm sorry because I'm using another OS mangyod. Kung saan nyo nilagay si SAMP, hanapin nyo si htdocs, tapos doon nyo i-save yung itong PHP file na ito. Okay? And then you just click save. And then, if you would want to run or test it, you kindly, what do you call this one? You kindly type localhost dash connection.php. So, wala talagang lalabas dyan. If there is an error, ahya pa na mo gawas na dayon. If walang error, blank lang yung lalabas dyan. Okay? So, pag may error, meron ditong lalabas na error. Like, for example, I will try to put an error on this one. So, for example, gawa tayo ng SIA2. Tapos, save natin. Tapos, let's try to see kung anong mangyayari. Ayan, no? You have it here. Unknown database SIA2. Diba? Because wala siyang nakitang SIA2 under your local server. So, ayan. So, balik natin yung original natin na table na database name. Ayan, 'di ba? Wala na siyang error because it has successfully connected or accessed the local server and it was able to identify the database we created earlier. The second thing that you need to do is we will now create this form na, okay? So the first thing that we need to do is ito, you create another or you open another text editor or another tab, and then you type the following. Okay? So, I will now discuss kung ano itong mga codes na nilagay ko. So, the first line of code is actually a PHP code. This one is an include. Ayan. Yung ginawa niya dito is that for this form to work, ayan, I think I can make it bigger. Wait muna ha. I'll make it big so that everyone can see it. Ayan. So, yung ginawa ko is something like this. Since we need this one for our form, so I call this one. Wala kag nagtawag bitaw. So I use include. So it means na the connection that I will be using will be based on connection.php. Okay? So for example, so this means na if this will run properly, the connection that I will be using here will also run. Okay? Like properly, wala siya error gud nga magawas. And then this part here, I think this one is already, like you are familiar about this one. This is an HTML code that is used in creating basic web forms. Okay? If you notice, sir, bakit wala siyang design? It's because I did not include any CSS. Okay? So you create first a form. Okay? You create first the HTML, and ayan. Ayan, these are the tags. And of course, you have here the body. And inside the body, we will be creating a form. So this one is very important. Make sure to do it properly. Okay? Yung form action niya is wala siya. Wala siyang pupuntahan. Later pa on our next demonstrations, we'll try to edit this one. Okay? So for the name, you have it here, prod form. It means it's an abbreviation for product form. It will also be used later pa sa mga next demonstration. And of course, the method that will be used is posting. Bakit posting? Actually, dalawa yan. Posting and then getting. Yung posting is that if yung data natin is manggagaling sa web form tapos ipapasa natin papuntang database. Okay? Yung get naman or yung get na method is that galing sa database is ibabalik natin sa web form. Okay? Pero right now, yung goal natin is from web form papuntang database. Now, the second thing that you need to do is to create these input forms. Ayan. Paano ginawa yan? It's because of this code. Okay? So, make sure lang na you have properly labeled it not only with this one, but also with this one. Kasi ito, this product ID is only the label of the input box. Pero hindi yan yung pangalan ng input box na gagamitin. This part here will be the name of the input box. Okay, that's why you need to name it properly. The second one is an input box for product name. This is only the label again. And of course, this one is the name of the input box. So, ibig sabihin, ito yung tatawagin natin, hindi ito. Okay? The third one is the button that will be used later on for inserting. So, yung button natin is a submit type. Ibig sabihin, meron siyang isusumite. So, it could either be to the next form or to the database na dayon. So, the name of the button or the label of the button is submit, but the name is insert. Ibig sabihin, if we will put or create a function for it, yung gagamitin natin or yung tatawagin natin is yung name ng button na si insert. Okay? So, after creating this form, diba, it's very basic. If you have any or if you would want to design it, it would be okay with me. But of course, I'm only after for the minimum requirements as of now. Okay? So now, let's go to creating the function for insert, diba? So if you could still remember in your database, you have SQL manipulation like inserting, deleting, and updating, and then selecting, diba? So with that one, we will try to demonstrate the insert SQL manipulation using PHP. So to do that one, we have this code. So I called, you have it here. So if is set, so ibig sabihin, ang ibig sabihin ng if is set is that if this button will be clicked, ayan, this, for the simplest, kanana lang, for the simplest explanation, if the button insert will be clicked, this particular query will be, anong mangyayari? This one will be executed. So ano ba itong query na ginawa ko dito? So MySQL query is used whenever you would want to either insert, update, or delete. So right now, I will be using insert. So every time na I will click the submit button, ito yung i-execute niya. Ang sabi niya dito, you access the local server, diba? You access the local server, ito si link, diba? Access the local server including the database wherein specified sa connection.php. And of course, you insert into the product info, diba? A while ago, we have created the product info. The values na nanggagaling kang prod ID, ayan, from text box 1 daw. And then, another value from prod name, text box 2 daw. Okay? And then, if wala siya, or if walang, like for example, if there is an error, either an error in connection or an error with the input, automatically, this part of the code will be executed. Okay? So again, this part here, every time na si submit button daw is will be clicked. Itong part na to will be executed. Okay? So ayan, it's quite simple, pero it's only the minimum. Okay? Now let's try to demonstrate this one. So for example, add tayo ng ID. Sir, kailangan pa talaga na prod 01. Actually, it's okay. Pwede ngang item 001. Okay? Item 01, okay. Lagyan natin charger. So, if I will click, diba? This one, ang name niya is prod ID. Ito is prod name. So, the values that will be used here will be used in the execution part ng submit. So, if I will click this one, ayan, wala siya. Wala siyang error, wala siyang nilabas na error. But then, to double check this one, you need to go to your database and then refresh the page. Yan. Refresh natin. And then let's try to check kung meron ba talaga siyang laman. So if you notice, ito, you have it here, si item 01 was inserted with the name charger. Okay? So if you have successfully done that one, then you can proceed with the task performance or yung group task performance na I have mentioned a while ago. Okay? You have it here. For the additional, for group task performance, you add additional input boxes for product description and product quantity. Okay? So for example, we have already created the product ID, the product name. So lagyan nyo na lang or you put an additional text box or input box for product description and product quantity. Okay? Of course, if you will add 2 input boxes, you need to modify also your database or the table for product info. Kasi, you only have two columns here. So kung gusto mo mag-add, just just add two columns. Naa sila yung options dani man sad. Okay? So any questions with regards to this demonstration, you can comment it down below and then I will answer it. Thank you so much for listening.